Okay, so I'm here with Shiney Korean, who's the filmmaker, the producer behind Nawal The Jewel. Congratulations, welcome to Valencia.
Thank you so much, and thank you for accepting our movie and hosting us.
You're welcome. The film
Thank
is
you.
brilliant, the film is fantastic. Pleasure to watch. Obviously, I know some of the history of the film. I know it's based on some, well, let me know, I'm kind of, you should be telling this. If you can tell us what the film is about and where, because this is based on a true story, or I don't know if it's a mix of true stories, but please tell us what the synopsis of the film.
This movie has got an interesting beginning, I would say conception. And the conception started the fall of 2015. And it started with the, like, complete strangers, 3 complete strangers who met on Facebook. And somebody from Kerala, and I'm based out of Chicago, USA, and said, Shiney, I'm really interested in making a movie. So I says, like, pitch your movie. So he gave me a synopsis in 10 minutes. I said, I do not want to hear anything more about it. I love it. It's got a great premise. Let's go about it. So he said, I know you're in Chicago. You might have a lot of money. I says, like, no, I'm a nurse, by the way. I'm like a nurse practitioner nurse. So I said, no, nurses don't really make that much money, but I'll see what I can do. So then next person on the Facebook is another one who's based out in LA,
Right.
who is from Kerala, who was also into art. So I called him, he had money, and here we are. So this movie is actually based on, we amalgamated 2 true stories.
Which are harrowing, to be honest, aren't they, to be fair?
I'm sorry?
The stories, the true stories, which are quite harrowing.
Yes. Actually, the first one is very harrowing, not the second one.
No.
The first one was based on a female, Ms. Jabari from Iran, who basically got targeted because she was a female, and she decided there was some kind of like, she basically tried to kill somebody, and so because she was sexually assaulted,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
she got hung. But
I know, this is incredible. I mean, we can't, I'm fine, even now talking about this, she's the one that's assaulted or raped, and she's the one that, anyway, it's hard to
But
believe.
there was like, so then I also had to do a little bit of research and everything. There was some kind of, but anyway, but what we decided to is like, did not want to see her hung, but we wanted to have a positive spin on how things could be related in the modern era. So the next story is based out of a female who was in Egypt, who for 14 years went around dressed in a man's garb, so because it's a patriarchal society, so she could earn a living. But when the Egyptian government found that out, was very happy and gave her actually an award for her bravery. So what's interesting to know is, like, if things are done in pure like positive intent, things can have a good ending. It depends on how we take the whole thing globally.
Thank you. And so you've been pitched, you love the idea of the film, the concept, and that's just the beginning, of course, you know the story, but now it's all starting to, okay, let's see what we can do, bring the investment together, bring the people together. But the fact is, this is going to be a big project. It's a motion picture, it's a major film, right? So tell us a bit more about that. So you kind of bought into the idea, you're interested, you're all starting trying to raise the funds, but where does it go from there? What's the next move from that?
So I know it's basically a feature length that was made in English and in an Indian language, which is called Malayalam, and it was shot in 32 days. And it was shot in a place called Kerala, which is the southernmost tip of the country in India, and it was shot in Oman. And it was intended for the Kerala Indian language, which is from the state of Kerala.
Yeah.
And globally, because our director, Mr. Renjilal, he's the brainchild of this whole movie. He's absolutely brilliant. So he's basically It's his concept, his story, the screenplay, the editor, and the co-writer. But I bring in the global aspect of this because we actually deal on a very sensitive social subject called female genital mutilation.
Yeah, which has only just started to really, in the UK, in
For the last
few
10 years,
yeah,
yes.
this really now we know it's about, of course.
Yeah, in UK, for the last 10 years, the UK government has said it is a crime,
Yeah.
and people will get jail time.
Yeah,
So in the USA, it's still prevalent in some ethnic cultures, not just ethnic cultures, people who believe in a certain religion, and it is just so horribly.
Well, it's barbaric, isn't it?
It's just not barbaric. It is how the males, the men perceive women as chattel.
Yeah.
And young females, like kids, like 5 years old, 6, 7, 8, are brought to the clinic in places, in different areas of the USA, especially in a state called Detroit, where it was in the news, where kids from different states were brought in because these 2 or 3 physicians actually did, basically they scrape off the clitoris.
Yeah, I know.
It's basically like taking off the clitoris because in their dictum or in their tenets, it says that a man can have all the sexual pleasure, but a female is not supposed to. And how, I'm sorry to say, how barbaric.
It is horrific.
It's just how horrific. So basically, a female child or a female is not even given the respect of being a homo sapien, I would say a human being.
Well, there's just a complete abuse of human rights, isn't it?
Complete abuse of human rights. So this movie actually dwells on that, but the way we have incorporated that. So I would want this movie on a global stage to highlight the atrocities that are committed on these young girls across the world. It happens in a lot in different areas in Africa, in different areas in the US, in the UK, and wherever this ethnic religion and the culture propagates, which is across the world.
And of course, if because Chicago to Detroit is not far at all, is it?
It's only 4 hours by car drive, an hour by flight. So which brings me, it might be very prevalent in different pockets where this ethnic, or I would say this religion is. We haven't, because it's so communal based that even though it happens, they're really afraid to go out and talk about it. Because honor killing, which we read and see only in exotic places like third world countries or like India and Pakistan and in Africa, it also happens in the real urban places of different areas of the United States amongst these ethnic religions. I know it because I have friends who have gone through it.
It's definite. Oh, it's real. It's
real. It is real, and I'm a medical professional, and I've had young kids who have come in who are pregnant with 17 and 18-year-olds who their other partner is an American kid. It's just horrific.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Well, yeah, it's just words fail me. It's just hard to believe, particularly in the West, you know, the UK, Europe, US. It's just shocking. Mm-hmm. So when you know you're going to be part of this gig, this film, and I know you're in it for the whole. And what I mean by that is you had to do the travel, didn't you? You wanted to be really involved in.
Yes.
So you were a very hands-on producer in that. So were you involved with the script, or did you just trust? How did that all happen? Because obviously you knew the story, you know how it's going to be amalgamated, but were you involved in that whole process as well?
I was there for the whole shooting, which was done in March of 2016 in Kerala. So we did the Indian version, which is the Malayalam version.
Yeah.
And then we did the English version. So I was hands-on with the director and Mr. Renjilal, and our production designer of the whole movie, Dr. Tulsidas. And I say doctors because they are not really medical doctors, but Dr. Tulsidas is actually a PhD in comparative Indian and Japanese theater, a Fulbright scholar from India who was sent to New York for 1 year film study.
Yeah.
And he is very involved in exchange students from the University of Art London, St. Martin's College of Students. He actually does exchange programs with those kids based out of Kerala. So that's one of our, that's Dr. Tulsidas. We call ourselves the Three Musketeers.
Yeah,
so he's one of the musketeers.
Yeah.
And the other one is Dr. Renjilal. He's a PhD in, trying to finish up in Indian cinema, and then that's me. So yes, I was there because when you do it in the Indian language, what happens is the flow and the direction is it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
It's just the opposite when you do it in English. So like when you say, especially when it was Reem, so we made her memorize the Indian.
She couldn't speak Indian at all, could she?
She could not speak Indian at
Right,
all.
okay.
She did not even know what Malayalam was. So we had to make sure that Renjilal explained, and she did do a lot of hard work for the movie. We got her to Kerala. So the English was fine. It was very, very easy. When it had to be converted from the Malayalam, it wasn't that easy for her to grasp it properly.
Yeah.
Because, like, say for example, it's not very easy for an artist, and considering Reem's ethnic background, to say female genital mutilation. I do not think it has been so explicitly done in any other movies. I don't know.
No, I'm struggling. So.
Yeah, I'm struggling, so I wouldn't know. I can't claim.
No.
So it wasn't easy, but I was involved in every phase, how to have it done, and from the English portion, yes.
So with Reem, so I know she couldn't speak any word of the language, so that's immediately, I know, and obviously, as you say, she's done very, very well, but even so, that's a lot to put on someone's shoulders. You're effectively asking them to learn a certain portion of the language for a film. So basically the same film, but reshot, which it is, isn't it?
Actually, we did one,
there's two versions.
Actually we did like one shot, like in English.
And then stopped and done it again.
And did the thing. So it was, so hats off to the brilliance of Mr. Renjilal, the director. And so he had it done in such a way, and he's very focused. When you see him, other than that, when he's in the director's chair, he's a complete, he's the king of the jungle.
Yeah, just zones in on it.
He zones in. He doesn't really, he doesn't care if he eats, drinks. It doesn't matter. Let's go. So, but I love that.
Yeah.
I love that about him, and that's where I am. I'm with him totally because we zone it. Let's get this going. This is how it needs to be done. So I absolutely enjoyed that process.
And much like I asked the previous filmmaker, you're hooked on this now, I guess. Now you've done it.
Absolutely, because everybody has their own ideas about what to do with the movie, but I have a very simple like aim or goal with this movie. I would like everybody to know how much certain kids and young women in the poor countries around the world suffer, and I want this to be known and to be exposed, so somebody somewhere can benefit from this.
You need to do a comedy next.
Hey, I'm a good actress. Oh, by the way, I'm in the movie too.
Yeah.
I'm in the movie too, and I don't think anybody gets to see where I am, because I can switch roles and I can switch.
I can't remember you in the film.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole idea.
I can't remember you in the film.
I am in the movie.
No,
I'm an
I'm
actress
sure you
too.
are.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you are. And
I actually I'm the grandmother of Reem. I'm the grandmother of Nawal.
oh,
But you know what? But the way Ms.
that it's done.
Ranjilal has done the movie,
Yeah.
and that's a completely new format. It's just beautiful. And I take this opportunity to give a credit to the rest of the cast of the movie. This is Reem's first feature film. The rest of the cast has done minimum of 40 to 50 movies.
Yeah.
And the other producer of the movie is Alan Matters from LA, and this is his first feature-length movie also, who plays the love interest of Nawal.
So you've obviously, again, I'm going to use this word that I used earlier, been seduced by this film, by filmmaking. So let's imagine for a moment, this is a bit of a fun question. So let's imagine I'm one of your children, and let's imagine that I'm, say, I've reached, I don't know, 24, 25, and I come to see you and say, look, Mum, I don't know what to do. I've got a crossroads in my life, and there's a career I want to choose, but I don't know which one to take. I've either got the opportunity to go and work in medicine, or I've got the opportunity to go and work in filmmaking. What am I going to do?
Let's put it this way. Medicine is a very noble profession if done right. So is filmmaking, if it is done right. Both professions have the money aspect to it. You can be a doctor, you can make millions and millions. I've been in the field for many, many, many years. I've seen filmmakers too who can make millions and millions. But to me, filmmaking is an art which is divine that can change people's lives. So if I were given an opportunity at this point in time, hey, I will take filmmaking anytime.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. What I do is I've been an ICU nurse for many, many years, and I take care of human beings, life and death situations. But in movie, it's not a life and death situations. Hey, this scene is not right, cut it, let's do it again. But not in what I do right now.
That's brilliant. I interviewed an Argentinian filmmaker, actress, a couple of years ago, quite young. She was actually a doctor. And I said, oh my God, what are you doing this for? She said, you know what, Steve? I hated medicine. She got to the point she said, I still do it to keep my license. So I do like a day a week, whatever. And she said, but the difference is I played a doctor in a film I was in, and the person on the operating table died. But she said, you know what, we ended the cut, they got up and we all walked away. And she said, and that's the difference, because of course you've got pressure to get the film right, but at the end of the day, you're just acting. She said, and I love it. And she said, I've just become jaded by being a doctor.
Yep, because so like with all those festivals, I've been like traveling since April 4th, starting from LA, because our movie won the best movie at the LA Palos Verdes Film Festival, then in Boston. But in between, I come back and my work. So what's interesting is like it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
Two different ends of the spectrum, but I love both of it. But I'm at the stage where, come on, if somebody were to pay me, I'd rather do filmmaking.
Listen, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That was wonderful.
And it was an honor to have been interviewed by you. And thank you again for inviting to the Fusion International Film Festival.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thanks very much.
Thank you, USA. Thank you, India. Thank you, Kerala. And thank you, Ranjilal and Tulsidas.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.